Riding through the winter is perhaps a bigger challenge for a cyclist, but in this video I'm going to share some of my best tips for making sure your bike is as prepared as possible. The first tip might seem counterintuitive, but how about leave your road bike at home and instead take out your gravel or your mountain bike and go off-road instead. And I reckon 2 hours on the gravel or mountain bike in the woods getting covered in mud is a better workout and much more fun than grinding out 6 hours on a road bike in howling wind, crosswinds and torrential rain. And riding off-road is definitely great for your bike handling skills as well. Getting used to the bike slithering around underneath you is great for your handling skills, and that transfers really well to your road bike in the spring and summer. And most importantly of all, in my experience, riding off-road puts a massive smile on your face. Yes, you'll be covered in mud, but if you're going outside in the winter, you'll likely get covered in mud or soaked anyway, so you might as well do it properly and get up to your ankles in mud and go off-road in the woods, over the moorland, through the forest and really enjoy your time off-road. And riding off-road on your gravel or mountain bike will save the wear and tear on your road bike, so when the spring comes around, your road bike won't be quite as knackered as if you do ride it through the winter. Now you can use a summer race tyre through the winter, but if you want to ensure you minimise the risk of a puncture and you have more grip and a more durable tyre, there are many bike brands that offer really good winter tyres. These tyres have a tread compound that usually works better in the wet, giving more grip when it's slippery, and also work better in the lower temperatures at this time of year. They're also more durable, so it will last longer than a summer tyre through the winter, and they're also, and it's very important, more resistant to punctures. All that rain washes out the crap from the side of the road into your path, flint, glass and other objects that will cut through a tyre very easily. And a winter tyre will have a beefier construction and a bigger puncture band to better resist punctures. Right, I know mudguards aren't deemed by many of you to be cool or fashionable, but riding in the winter isn't about looking good, it's about getting through the ride from one day to the next. And I think mudguards are a solid investment. And mudguards serve two purposes. They both keep you drier than without, so drier feet, drier thighs and drier bottoms so you don't get quite as cold as without mudguards. And secondly, they keep your bike protected from all the grit and spray from riding on crappy roads. You can easily fit mudguards on most bikes these days, lots of good plastic clip-on mudguards, and those type offer good protection to yourself. But to really protect your bike, you need a full-length mudguards. Now these don't fit on all bikes, but many endurance bikes do allow you to fit them. And the benefit of a full-length mudguard is not only does it fully protect you from all the road spray, but also protects your bike as well. It stops your bike from getting as dirty and protects parts like the rim brakes, the front mech and other parts of the bike from all that salt, grit, mud that gets sprayed onto the bike, and also makes your bike easier to clean after a ride as well. So mudguards, they might not look cool, but they definitely look after you and your bike. One of my favourite tips that I do on any bike I'm going to ride through crappy conditions in the winter is to apply some waterproof grease to headset bearings. In my experience, that lower headset bearing, especially without mudguards, is very prone to all the crap that gets thrown up by the front wheel. So my favourite tip here is to apply waterproof grease all around the lower headset bearing and the top headset bearing to ensure it has a barrier to the rain, the grit and the mud when riding through the winter. Another good tip that I use during the winter is to apply a silicone coating to the frame, but not your disc brakes. You can get a spray can, put it on the cloth, spray it over the frame, and you have a nice barrier, a nice protective sheen on your frame that will make mud and rain harder to stick onto the frame. So you're carrying around less crap when you're riding through the winter, especially on a mountain bike, very good, because a mountain bike on a muddy ride can get very heavy very quickly and means it's easy to clean the bike after a ride as well. Because riding through the winter is hard on your bike and the wear and tear is definitely higher, you need to make sure you clean it and wash it on a regular basis. And you can watch my video on how to do that by watching that video linked above. And along with that cleaning routine is to check the wear of your chain on a frequent basis. Get a simple tool, doesn't cost too much from Park Tool and other companies, and simply pop it on the chain and it will tell you whether the chain is worn, needs replacing, or is good to go for a few more miles. Some people like to go the extra step and have 2 or 3 chains on frequent rotation to extend the life of the cassette and the chain rings. It takes a bit more effort and planning for sure, but if you want to extend the life of your drivetrain and your group set, then having 2 or even 3 chains on rotation is a good step. If like me, you're going to use one chain on your road bike through the winter, then make sure you check the chain wear on a frequent basis and replace it before it gets worn. It goes without saying that you need some good quality lights on your bike whether riding off-road or on the road during the winter. Even during the daytime, it can be gloomy, overcast and low light, so have good lights you need during the daytime and during the night time as well. There are loads and loads of good lights on the market these days, a far cry from when I started riding bikes over 20 years ago. These days you can get lights that run for ages, provide loads of brightness, good adjustability for different modes and don't cost a fortune as well. But my personal recommendation is to spend a bit more on a high quality light from a recognisable brand with a good reputation. Because the saying, buy cheap, buy twice, definitely ring true on bicycle lights. A brand like Exposure, for example, not plugging them, just mentioning them, have really good customer service and they are known to replace lights and batteries in their lights years after the warranty has run out. Because riding through the winter is a challenging time for you and your bike, usually stuff goes wrong in the winter. Bits break, bits wear out, so it's worth being prepared. So a well-loaded, well-equipped saddle pack with all the bits and bobs you might need. So 2 spare tubes at a minimum, tyre levers if you need those, if the tyres are tight on the rims, a tubeless plug kit if you use tubeless tyres, a tyre boot in case you slash a tyre, a good multi-tool with a chain breaker is essential, a spare quick link for your chain as well so you can quickly fix a chain if it breaks during a ride, and other bits you might need to make sure your bike can be fixed easily on the side of the road. Because punctures are sadly a high risk during the winter, it's definitely worth investing in a really good reliable pump. Now of course you can use the same mini pump you use during the summer, a good pump to get you home, but my personal preference is a frame pump. These are much longer than a mini pump, go underneath the top tube, and yes they look old fashioned and don't look that cool, but they are a much better way of re-inflating a tyre after a puncture. You can much more easily and quickly get your tyre re-inflated after a puncture and get back up to 70, 80 or 90 psi much more easily and with less effort than a tiny mini pump. You can of course use a CO2 canister, super quick, super rapid, but personally my preference is for a reliable lightweight frame pump that will never ever let you down. Those then are some of my tips for protecting your bike during the winter, but what are your tips? Let me know by leaving a comment down below. But that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all again very soon.